you guys pull from each other.
Kind of like me and you, Adam.
That's one way to put it. That's for sure.
We get to punch each other in the
Yeah.
face. Though.
Oh, I want to punch you in the face, Adam.
I know he does.
Out of love.
Out of love, yeah, exactly.
You don't hit your
yeah.
friends out of
Hit 'em
spite.
to get 'em
You know what?
better,
If I
yeah.
could use
Right.
Our Life CBD on my
Hand
face,
up.
If I don't hit you in the
Then that's-
face, when someone does, you're not going to know what to do.
The only thing Dondo smacks is his monkey.
And I do that well. My hand
Yeah,
could get
own it.
pregnant. I'd have
And
a
he rare
thousand
nokes
fingers.
chokes his chicken
own it.
sometimes.
I thought that was a
At
Peruvian
least I
necktie.
can reach it, Joe.
I've been losing weight. I can see it now.
There, with a mirror on your foot.
It's a whole new world. This shit is like Aladdin, yo.
It is.
No, this is cool. This is cool. Appreciate
Yeah,
you guys.
Right.
Thanks for
You
having
gotta
us.
break it up a
Appreciate
little.
it.
Oh, these guys,
Absolutely.
come on, you guys are the stars. I mean,
Yeah.
we really focus on the fight world, but the up and coming fighters is so important because we're kind of at a unique place with even the top of the UFC and Bellator. The stars are they're coming back for nostalgic fights.
Yeah.
But a lot of these newer guys we know, but the basic mom and pop kids at home, they don't really know the fighters like they once did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of fighters are going around the world. It's global. So as they do promotions in Europe and they do them in Australia, they'll bring local fighters in, and we might not know who they are. We may have read about them, but everybody else is like, "Who's this?" So it's a changing world right now, and where are those stars? And Adam brings up a unique thing to me every week that a lot of what originally happened with MMA, those guys kind of borrowed from pro wrestling. So they're bigger than life personas help them pave their way, but people don't get taught that.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
Not at all. You know,
But Conor McGregor kind of set an example of how it can be done.
Yeah,
Turn
yeah,
yourself into
exactly.
$1 million, $100 million man.
and I mean, everybody uses Connor, and for good reason, right? That's the most recent kind
It's
of
a lot of
incarnation.
money.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, when you look at like a Tito Ortiz or Bob Sapp, who is doing it in Japan, coming out with entrances and what have you.
I get it, but those are the guys I'm talking about.
Yeah,
those
yeah.
are the heroes. Now we've got
Absolutely,
younger
100%.
guys. Where do they get that? Where do they? I mean, you would know. I'm not the wrestling background
Yeah.
guy. You tell me.
Well, the
I
thing
gotta
of-
look at the Iron Sheik and throw on my Pharaoh's hat.
Yeah, that you know what? Tag. Get in the DMs to Donda the Gym Crashers, and let's get him a Sultan hat. That'd
I've
be
got
great.
some Sheiks in my pocket.
There we go.
You got
All
sheets in your
10
underwear.
points. There you go. No, but I mean, the ethos, right? No matter what form, I mean, yes, it's a sport, right? But we are in a very unique form of entertainment, right? But in every aspect of entertainment, whether it be plays, movies, and to fights, right?
Yeah.
It's putting a butt in every 18 inches, right? So whether that be, garnering people to invest in who you are. They might not necessarily like fighting, but if we can showcase two guys that have the relationship that you guys do, right? And they're looking at each other and you're like, hey, well, I've got a pot belly, like whatever. Let's try this gym out. Let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens, right? And you see people's, lives change out of it, right? That's a very cool byproduct, right?
Yeah.
And that butt in every 18 inches of seat will probably be more compelled to buy a fight that you're fighting on, right? Might check out the live stream if it gets put on Facebook or YouTube. You might pay the $10 on Fight, the Fight app or what
Right,
have you.
right.
And there's a lot more. And imagine if you guys at a pro level could kind of mitigate like the normal jobs that you guys have and just fight because you've
That's the
gained
goal.
a following right
Yeah.
through things like this interviews that you've got done elsewhere things that happen at your gym and then those two guys that are watching you and supporting you they've created this value creation in their lives where they're fighting, they become teammates of yours, or you guys are competing, they join another gym and you guys are competing against each other and like
Heavy, man.
yeah,
I think
man,
that was
it's-
the lesson in itself. You
Yeah.
gotta open a
it's
school.
It's something. It's something. But I
That's
mean,
what he's telling me.
Right?
Right?
Yeah,
I gotta do
There's
it.
a Gym Crasher dojo you can come to.
there you go. Man, I need to. Yeah,
we
so
should make
Canyon
a shirt.
transition.
Killing
We're
you.
coming for you.
I'm just kidding.
No, absolutely no. I gotta go. No, but that's the beauty of combat sports, and I would say more so than mixed martial arts, then I mean, like there's Muay Thai that they show respect after a fight or what have you. But like sometimes in boxing, some of the trash talk gets a little bit like it's too much under the skin. You go too deep, and then you see like I mean referees getting punched out and whatever, and it's just like oh whatever. But like imagine a amazing fight that happens, whether it be an amateur level fight. A regional fight or in the UFC, right? And you see this compelling fight happen, right? You see a masterpiece literally unfold in front of your very eyes, right?
Yeah.
And the best thing is, regardless of the outcome of the two fighters, they both hug, embrace, right?
Right,
And it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
real, like you guys have been through the war, I mean, people talk about grind, but I mean, you punching somebody else, you feel how your punch feels against their face,
Yeah,
right?
right.
You guys have been through something so cathartic that no one else would understand. Not your coach, not your mom, not your significant other, none of that, right? And then the embrace, and that's like, I mean, it brings the crowd to its feet even more so than the fight that happened. And then you see the coaches and whatever.
Exactly.
We've even seen, guys who have fought each other, they go and cross train, and it sets up this cool little relationship between gyms, and they're all cross training and whatever, and everybody kind of like. Here's this thing, right? And it started off surface level. This is a great fight. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
And then this whole other thing happens, and everybody in that arena, everybody that's sitting home watching, everybody that's in a bar watching, right? They become in this. They get enveloped into this experience that happens,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
And it happens every time. That's why I get jacked when I have guys like you guys. We get to interview guys like you guys
Appreciate
because
that. Yeah, appreciate that.
a lot. Just like your guys' relationship, you guys got into it for different reasons,
Yeah.
right? And then you are doing it together, right? You are at the same gym, and then you get to share your guys' whatever knowledge that you have thus far to people coming up under you, and then you get to drink from the well of the masters like Ben Jones,
yeah.
Eric Paulson,
Eric Paulson.
Curtis Melander, Jacob
Yeah.
Rosales, Trent Mew,
Killers.
and it's just
Guro
like,
Dan Inosanto.
Yes.
Bringing the art.
absolutely,
To it,
Yeah.
and it's just like this whole thing, and I mean, you almost want to bring everybody like, hey, this is what we're doing here. You guys might think we're like grunt striking our knuckles, but I mean, to fight, to punch and try to stop a takedown and what have you. There's a whole mechanics that happens in your brain,
definitely.
that even some scientists might not even know about, but they're sending stuff to the moon, and
Or maybe they do, because there is
Absolutely.
within men full of testosterone a need to do this.
yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
What would you do without it, right?
Yeah.
I think we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Trouble happens.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So now there's a place for it. There should have always been a place for it, but
Yeah.
How about you, Woods?
What you
Talk
got?
to the gentleman. What got you into it? I mean, were you a wrestler in high school?
I know. Unfortunately, I tried out for the team, and I made the team. A week later, we basically got shut down because of female sports, essentially. And nothing wrong with that, but there was a cool thing that happened. But it's almost like,
You got robbed.
That was one of the sport,
Yeah.
that was when they cut the sport
yeah,
thing when
absolutely,
you're talking about.
yeah. So this
okay,
is
I
like
see.
what 2000, right? So, but the thing about it is, it's almost like there's outliers, right?
Yeah.
So, what if Ronda had won a gold medal
Yeah.
in the Olympics, not the bronze? What if
Right.
Daniel Cormier had gotten a medal rather than fourth place at the Olympics? Do you think they would have? Those are those outliers that you kind of play around with. Like, what is it, the Mandela effect, right? If this chain of events didn't happen the way that it did, would we get to where we are now, right?
Yeah.
So,
What if the Gracies didn't move to America?
absolutely, right?
That was a big caveat for this taking off. They
Yeah,
started the UFC,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful. I mean, even doing the broadcasting and in the early 2000s and what have you, if I had done it at that time, I don't think I would have loved it as much or fought as hard to do this.
No.
So those are these wonderful outliers that we kind of have, right? And
But it was a family thing, the broadcasting thing. So getting away from the fighting thing,
Yeah.
you had a grandfather?
yeah, my
Somebody on the
grandfather-
Coconut Express,
Coconut Express.
right? Somebody's talking into a
I was
banana
trying to
tree.
be cool about that.
Yeah, there you go.
Tell me. I mean,
no. So my grandfather.
They're
Yeah.
broadcasting in Fiji.
That's one way to do it. No, but my grandfather was the first Fijian-born broadcaster in Fiji.
That's heavy, dude.
Yeah,
What's his name? So we know.
Wame Wanganisinini Senior.
Wame
Yeah.
Wanganisi.
They didn't have Apple computers; they had pineapple computers.
Can't say that.
Right?
There you go.
Alright,
Wanganisinini,
try.
15 letters long, and it starts off WAQ. So go ahead and try and spell that. I'll give you 10 points. How about that? There you go.
You know?
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, this mythological scoreboard that we've got going on. Right, Polynesian Panda?
Did he report on fighting of any sort?
Huh?
Did he report on fighting, or was it just broadcasting?
I think peripherally, but it was just like national news, things
cricket,
that we,
Yeah.
weather.
yeah, like
Little
the
bit of
things,
everything.
yeah, absolutely, the things that you would hear on like BBC and what
Yeah.
have you. And
Yeah, the
You just
BBC.
did that.
He mentions the BBC.
yeah, British Commonwealth represent.
That's right.
Yeah, man. No, so that's
Leave
the
it to
first
Adam to
only
bring it
time
up.
that you're gonna hear BBC represent, yo.
Something tells me that's not. Something tells me Mrs. Woods represents that as well. Well, she
that
might
may or
holler
may
at
not
me.
be true. I was just saying.
Oh, damn! I wasn't even going either.
Yeah.
I just playing.
There you go.
I love Mrs. Woods.
There. Not as much as I do, damn you.
He's like the man of God. You out talking all that man. See his shirt right now.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Faith of God. There, look, you guys are just.
JSW.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying.
Dun,
I'm
dun,
respect
dun.
for this gentleman
No,
wearing that
you're,
shirt.
Yeah.
you're a good man. I'm from Santa Ana.
Hey.
I've heard it before.
Yeah.
There you go.
Big Brown Cholo. BBC.
I'm not even gonna touch that one, bro.
Yeah.
So, on a personal level, so you guys, I mean, there's easier ways to make a living, right? And at the amateur level, there isn't a lot of money, right? So, take us to how your family reacts to you guys fighting. I mean, first off, competing in boxing and wrestling, individually, then kind of coming into MMA. Did you have a lot of support from your family in this endeavor?
Yeah, well, for me, it was, I was training for a couple months, and then my friend gets a call. He's like, oh, we're looking for a 55er. So then I call my parents, and I'm like, hey, I got a date. And they're like, what? And then I was just like, yeah, I'm fighting February 24th. I'm making, I guess, my amateur debut. And then they were just like, I don't know about it. And then they were just like, all right, well, we'll see what's up. And then once they saw that fight, it's just eye-opening, like he's actually training. He won. I got a second round TKO finish.
Skillful.
Yeah, and then after that, but as far as support, man, I have so much support from my parents, family, friends, sponsors too, and yeah, man, they're just helping me trying to achieve my dream and then my goals and aspirations, and yeah, but they've been supported since the start for sure. Yeah.
It's good to hear that because I've heard the opposite. You know,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
some people are in it alone and they're swinging for the fences.
exactly,
So
yeah.
you're a lucky man. I like to hear that. You know.
Right. Yeah.
And you, Mr. Dorado.
Yeah. No, my family, they're solid, man. There's always gonna be some family right there at my fights. You know what I mean? When it first came up, they actually brought the idea up when I started boxing. That I should start doing that. But then I was like, nah, I don't think I should fight for me, whatever.
We
Whatever.
got bills to pay, man. Get out there and fight.
Hey, literally, that's really what it came to, and
Right.
it came down to that serious, that serious thought
Hey,
where it's
that's
like
Breaking news. Ben Jones asked Joey if his mom calls his coach and wants to know what are we working on practice. LOL.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, no,
From the
exactly.
man
No,
himself.
Yeah.
that should speak volumes right there. My mom, she's my mom. She's always gonna be there when she can.
That's
And
cool,
when
man.
she can, she is gonna be there. And she was probably the most iffy about this, and it kind of is to this day. But she'll still be there. You know what I mean? So I don't think you should be doing it, but I'm gonna be there and stuff. So she'll be checking in and it's funny too because I'll tell her what Coach Ben tells me what I need to do, and then she'll be like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Ma, he's been doing this for a while. You know,
He's
what
my
I mean? Like,
coach.
yeah, and even if I'm not sure, I'm not gonna say anything to him.
Good answer.
Yeah, no, but yeah, they actually mentioned they brought it up that I should start doing this, and I kind of took some things to realize, and yeah, man, I really want to make sure my mom is set when she gets older. You know, I want to.
You're all heart, man.
Yeah. From she has a big.
It's like that
huge
moment
reason
in
why.
La Bamba where Richie buys his mom a house.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's honestly
Right?
the goal.
Yeah,
that's the goal right there.
yeah.
You know, not worry about no bills, no nothing. That's
We're
it.
all pushing for that. We all want to buy our mom's houses.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
You know?
Absolutely.
I got
know?
a question for them.
Robert, our producer's got a question. We're going to throw him the microphone.
I probably missed it because you were out, but since every once in a while we talk about, UFC and stuff like that, what do you guys think about the BAMF belt? And
I
that
thought it was
fight?
BMF.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's
BMF.
BMF.
Yeah, BMF
Bad
belt. My bad.
motherfucker.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
I mean, it's cool, but then like it's kind of it's bittersweet because it's cool. You know, it's bringing more attention, but at the same time, it's getting a little bit away from the true martial arts
Yeah.
thing. You know, which is respect and all this stuff, and it's like it's bittersweet. You know, because like you said, we're in a different time now. We're in a
Right.
different time, and it's on a bigger stage now. So like I personally like it because I grew up watching WWF and stuff too. So like I like it, and it's not like they're super disrespectful. I mean, you heard Nate saying he respects Masvidal
Both
being
respect
cool
each
and
other,
stuff,
yeah.
and so that's what it's about. You know, you're tough. I think I'm tough too. What's up? And then shit, you're tougher than me. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's dope too, and then especially it's like East Coast, West Coast. So, but yeah, I mean it's something new that's coming up, I guess, and then nobody really defends their belts now, so why not make a new one? I guess
Making a belt, somebody
Yeah.
go step up to.
Yeah, but,
yeah,
Who do you
that's
think
it.
wins that?
That's a hard question, but
Who do you think? I'm not being biased because I'm going for
Yeah.
Nate, but that's
Hell yeah.
I think Nate's gonna do it. I just think
I'm being
he's more-
biased. I
he's
think
more-
Nate's going to do it.
I just think he's more versatile. I think the way
Right.
he says it and people think he's stupid, but he's a true martial artist, man. He
Yeah.
can,
Yeah. Don't forget
as
that.
Yeah, he. That's not someone you want to meet outside on the street.
Yeah.
You know what
Hell
I mean?
no.
So I'm pulling for Nate.
And what he portrays is really him. So we talked about characters earlier. I think that coming from the streets of Santa Ana, we all respect the fact of where Nate comes from, right?
yeah,
Right.
Right.
And how
Yeah,
he
yeah.
represents himself
Yeah,
and his
exactly.
family and his brother,
yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely. I got family up in the NorCal area, which
Right.
we're talking
Okay.
about and stuff.
Yeah.
I got
and,
mad respect for that.
Right, and you could see their fair share of stuff out there, and some places got worse than others. And
That's a fact.
Everybody, yeah, exactly. Every place got a little weird place.
Oh,
So-
you can't go to Walmart no more. Come on.
So Richie, who you got?
I'm shooting for Nate too, just because he's from the West Coast. But I don't know, Masvidal's pretty strong too. He's been fighting for a while
That's a
too.
fact.
Veteran,
He's
yeah.
bringing that Street Fighter in him, and then I don't know. He's gonna produce violence, so we'll see. I think it's gonna be a good fight. Overall.
Yeah, that's what the people want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they're
That's
both
what it is.
finishers,
It's
so it's
Yeah,
like,
that's the
Yeah.
caveat, right?
Yep.
And you don't think they're going to show out at MSG? Come on, come
Yeah.
on.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
If they,
It's a
yeah,
pretty
they
good
will.
card overall too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So-
Interestingly enough, we got a big tournament this weekend starting for the, Bellator. Henry Corrales
Oh, yeah.
versus Darren Caldwell, your training partner. You guys are coming out of CSW.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, because Henry came out of this school at one time. He's off to bigger, brighter, better things, obviously competing at that level. Darren, with you guys now, what is your take on Bellator in this tournament?
It's a tough tournament. It's a tough
Yeah.
tournament for sure. DC coming in. He hasn't been with us too long, which
Yeah.
kind of sucks because you want to see what CSW changes. How you come with your fight style, but you're gonna adapt to a CSW fight style. Not abandon your game plan, right? But you're
Right.
gonna adapt to the system. I feel like if he was there for a little longer, he could adapt to the system. So he's gonna go out there and beat DC. So he's a tough dude. He
Yeah.
comes in, he always brings heart and stuff. He's
Yeah.
always displaying his skill in the gym.
Well
so-
respected, dude.
well respected, great wrestler, great striker.
National champ.
So I mean, I think DC's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Obviously we're gonna pull for our guy, but I mean,
Right on,
just
right on.
being able to actually feel that person right there. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's. I think he can do. He's looking real good.
Your
He's
heart's
looking
in it
real
when
good,
you, when you got homeboys in
Exactly.
there, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Donda, I wanted to get your thoughts on that whole BMF title. Like, what are your thoughts on it? What are you feeling?
I'm a Nate fan, so like these guys kind of said, like I see him pulling through and going through that whole mess and just kind of making it happen because he's the guy, right? He got a lot of heart. He proves it every fight. I mean, I hate to say this, he looks a little loose. I hate to use the word sloppy,
Mm-hmm.
but pulls it together. You know what I mean?
And I think that's what makes him entertaining too,
Yeah,
because
I
his
love
lanky
that.
style, he's
Yeah.
just slapping people. All his unorthodox style.
It almost looks like it could fall apart at any moment, and then he pulls it together and knocks you out. You know what I mean? That It's there.
Absolutely.
It isn't the tightest game, but it's his game.
Yeah.
He owns
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So my
Yeah.
heart's in it for
It's
Nate.
his game, that's right.
And then coming from CSW, I got to wind back down. You know, we're up against the clock here. We talked about another up-and-coming fighter. He's not had the best of luck lately. Aaron Pico has actually trained there as well. It's just interesting, you know, got guys like Darren Caldwell, obviously up there. Aaron Pico, obviously, is still a big draw at Bellator. We're all wondering where that's going to go. What are your guys' thoughts for local boys that are on the cards? I mean, is that drive you, you know, to see that? Because these are names that you guys are right there in the mix with, you know?
Yeah, no, it's nice to see, you know, what kind of competition you're around.
Yeah.
You know, to see what level you can aspire to as well. You know.
It's kind of like the high school kids looking at you two. You guys are doing it.
Yeah.
But then you're also looking at those guys, and they're doing it at that
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
level. You
Right.
know what I mean? So it's for real. It's right out of Orange County, like we
Yeah.
said. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
But yeah, exactly, and they're doing it, and it's good to have guys on the team that are doing it too. You know,
Mhm.
Oh,
Curtis,
you guys'
Jake,
team,
Jake,
these Curtis,
Trent,
yeah.
you know, we got good pros,
Javi.
Javier, yeah.
You guys got a
Ernesto.
stacked
Yeah.
team
Yeah.
there, right?
Amateurs are great too, you know.
Yeah.
And
I guess
I still
it's
consider-
kind of humbling, I guess, you know, having
yeah,
that much
definitely.
talent in one building.
Oh yeah,
And
but it's
the
also
coaches.
like it's thrilling to say
We
the
feed
least.
off
you know
each
what I
other,
mean?
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a good vibe. in
Definitely.
there.
Yeah, you got homeboys, you got the lineage, you got
Right,
the
right.
guru coming from LA that trained with
Exactly.
Bruce Lee. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the martial art part of it. Plus
Yeah.
the sport part of it all mixes together to create what you guys call your system,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no.
you know?
Yeah, it's definitely.
That's pretty heavy. I mean, as I got to interview Ben and interview you guys and you know, some of the other guys that were over there training, you get this feeling like there is something real special about that system. you
Oh
know?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And
for
when
sure.
when it gets put to work, it's exactly that. And then you talked about that drive that a wrestler has to grind it out. Once you put
Yeah.
that system into work,
Yeah,
you know.
Yep.
So I'm eager to see you guys grow and learn and pound it out because
appreciate that.
it's going to be that same system, you know.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
right.
that.
That's
Appreciate
right.
it.
In your own unique way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
own
exactly.
style.
Own style.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Mr. Woods, any words of wisdom for us?
Yeah.
You all good?
Yeah, man.
Well, how about where people can find you on social media?
Oh, according to that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Are you speechless?
Yeah. It's pretty cool to have these guys here.
I know.
Thank you.
I'm
Appreciate you
kind of
guys.
at that point, man. No, I love having you guys. I mean,
Appreciate it.
last minute, probably just like when you take fights, you do it whenever you can. So
Ready
thank
to
you so
go.
much, right?
Ready to go.
Thank
And where can they find you guys in your social medias?
On Instagram, L _machete 714, and then just Richie Miranda on Facebook, pretty much everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. On Instagram, Gorilla Face Joe, just J-O, and Facebook Joey Dorado. So. You know.
Gorilla face. This
Yeah.
guy looking all good. Gorilla face.
How
That's
about
cool.
you?
That's cool.
What about you, Dondo?
Dondo the Gym Crasher on Instagram, and then John Dondo on Facebook. As I've been told, I needed a Facebook, even though I shied away from it. There's one on there.
And you can catch me, Joey the Bull Santana
Hey,
Hinojosa.
Santana in the
That's what I'm
house.
talking about.
You
Both.
got your boys.
Both Facebook and Instagram.
That's right.
I'm available for bar mitzvahs, divorce parties,
I like
local
that.
strip clubs,
Brisk.
Brisk, club bubbles. I MC everything. So if you guys need a good ring announcer for some of your events, hit me up.
Bring up that next
boy.
show that's coming up. Hey, by the way, we got Royal Rumble coming up. Bring it
Yeah,
up, John.
Royal Rumble coming up, guys. Can't miss it. If you love wrestling, our boys, Thunder and Lightning, our OCCW Tag Team Champions, will be on the next hour with me, Joey the Bull, and Jonathan Mellis. That piece of you know what?
What is he?
He's the man.
Yeah.
Mouse and Chains.
Those are bold words, but thank you again to
Appreciate
Joey.
you,
Thank
yeah.
you, Richie.
Yeah, thank you.
All the
Appreciate you.
best.
Thank you.
You know, we're fans of yours. We're gonna be watching and hoping for all the best for you guys as you grow in your careers. So thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, guys.
Absolutely. Shout out to Ben Jones and CSW. We love you guys.
Shout out,
Man,
Coach.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Dale Royal
Oh,
Yeah.
Dale,
Yeah.
Coach Dale.
Yeah.
And we will catch you, crew.
That's the best.
And we will catch you next week, same time, 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Here, Gym Crashers. See you next Tuesday.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Hey, that was cool.